The Hindenburg Disaster, 1937. Full story, on the evening of May 6, 1937, the skies above Lakehurst, New Jersey, became the stage for one of the most infamous disasters in aviation history. The LZ-129 Hindenburg, the largest airship ever built, was completing its transatlantic journey from Frankfurt, Germany, to the United States. This flight was supposed to be a triumph of engineering, luxury, and German technological pride. Instead, within seconds, it became a fiery catastrophe that marked the tragic end of the airship era. The Hindenburg was a marvel of its time. At 245 meters long, nearly the length of 3 football fields, it dwarfed every aircraft of the 1930s. Inside, passengers could enjoy a level of comfort that airplanes simply could not offer. There were elegant dining rooms, lounges with grand pianos, smoking rooms and private cabins. Crossing the Atlantic by zeppelin was not only practical but glamorous, a journey reserved for the wealthy elite, journalists and adventurers. But behind its luxury, the Hindenburg carried a deadly secret. It was filled with hydrogen gas, a highly flammable material. Germany had originally planned to use non-flammable helium, but due to US export restrictions at the time, engineers were forced to rely on hydrogen. It was a compromise that would prove fatal. The journey began smoothly on May 3, 1937. Dozens of passengers and crew boarded in Frankfurt, excited for their crossing. For 3 days, the Hindenburg floated serenely across the Atlantic Ocean, its silver skin reflecting the sunlight, its massive silhouette inspiring awe wherever it appeared in the sky. By May 6, the ship approached Lakehurst, where crowds had gathered to witness its arrival. Among them were journalists, photographers, and newsreel cameramen eager to capture the majestic landing of the German airship. For the passengers on board, the end of the voyage was near. Luggage was packed, conversations filled the cabins, and excitement buzzed in the air. But as the airship descended around 7:25 p.m., tragedy struck. Witnesses reported seeing a flash near the tail section, followed almost instantly by a massive eruption of flames. In less than 40 seconds, the pride of Germany was reduced to a burning skeleton of twisted metal, crashing into the ground before horrified spectators. The images that followed became some of the most haunting in history. The fiery wreckage, people screaming, and survivors staggering out of the flames. Out of the 97 people aboard, 36 perished. 13 passengers, 22 crew members, and 1 ground worker. Miraculously, 62 survived, many with severe burns and injuries. The disaster was immortalized by radio reporter Herbert Morrison, who was covering the landing live. His voice, cracking with shock and grief, delivered one of the most famous broadcasts in history. Oh, the humanity! That raw, emotional reaction was replayed across America, embedding the tragedy into the public consciousness forever. The aftermath was devastating not only for the victims and their families, but for the future of aviation itself. Confidence in airships collapsed almost overnight. Once considered the future of long-distance travel, zeppelins were now seen as dangerous relics. The Hindenburg disaster effectively ended the era of passenger airships, paving the way for aeroplanes to dominate the skies. To this day, the cause of the fire remains a subject of debate. Theories range from a static spark igniting leaking hydrogen to sabotage to flammable paint on the ship's skin. Most experts believe it was a simple accident, a spark combined with hydrogen gas. Yet the true mystery adds to the legend of the disaster, keeping it alive in documentaries, books, and films. The Hindenburg was more than just a tragedy. It was a turning point in history. It showed the world both the promise and the danger of human innovation. For many, it symbolized the fragility of technology, when pride and ambition push safety aside. Today, when people think of airships, they often think of that fiery night in New Jersey. The footage, the photographs, and Morrison's anguished voice remind us that history is shaped not only by triumphs, but also by disasters. The Hindenburg remains one of the most powerful examples of how quickly dreams can go up in flames